Now let's move on to a section of the Sermon on the Mount that addresses a topic we all face: anxiety. Jesus says, "Therefore I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear." Matthew 6:25. Before you think Jesus is promoting irresponsibility, let me explain. Jesus is not saying we shouldn't plan or work. He is addressing the paralyzing anxiety that can consume our lives. He uses beautiful examples from nature to illustrate his point. Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Matthew 6:26. Think about it for a moment. Have you ever seen a bird having a panic attack about where it will find its next meal? Of course not. They simply trust that there will be food and go in search of it. Jesus continues, "And why do you worry about clothes? See how the flowers of the field grow. They do not labor or spin, yet I tell you that not even Solomon in all his splendor was dressed like one of these." Matthew 6:28-29. Again, Jesus is not promoting passivity. He is inviting us to trust in a loving Father who cares for us even more than for the birds and flowers. He is challenging our tendency to think that everything depends on us. And then comes the master stroke. "But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well." Matthew 6:33. This is a radical change of priorities. Jesus is saying, put God first, seek his will, pursue his righteousness, and trust that he will take care of your needs. It's not a promise of wealth or a trouble-free life. It's an invitation to live with an eternal perspective, trusting in a God who loves and cares for us. Now let's dive into one of the most challenging parts of the Sermon on the Mount. Jesus addresses something we all face daily: our priorities and our relationship with material things. He says, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moths and vermin destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moths and vermin do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal." Matthew 6:19-20. Wow, that's strong, right? Jesus is touching on something very deep here. He's not saying it's bad to have things. He's challenging us to think about what we truly value, about where we are investing our lives. Think about it for a moment. How often do we find ourselves chasing the next shiny thing, the new phone, the latest car, the trendy clothes? And there's nothing inherently wrong with these things, but Jesus is inviting us to look beyond them. He continues with a phrase that is like a punch to the gut. "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." Matthew 6:21. Boom. Jesus is saying that what we value shapes who we are. Our priorities are not just about what we do, but about who we become. And then he throws down the final challenge in this section. No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. Matthew 6:24. Jesus is not saying that money is bad. He is pointing out that the love of money, the obsession with material things, can easily become a master in our lives. It can control us, shape our decisions, determine our course in life. And when that happens, there is no room for God.